Oh, we are
Okay.
live.
Yes, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome to the Gamer Sections live stream. Basically, I'm doing this interview. It's been a while since I did an interview, but without further ado, I'm gonna let the man of the hour introduce himself. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah. My name is Sergei Kolobashkin. I'm the founder of 110 Industries, and also I serve as a creative director in the company.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and dive right into it right now. I got questions that needs answers. You know, people want to know these answers to these questions, though, man. And I always ask this question to everybody that I interview: is where did your love of gaming begin, and what was your first console when you started playing video games?
Okay. Cheesy shit. Okay. You ready for cheesy shit?
Hey, let's hear it.
My my very first console was the Master System. I'm
Hmm.
that old, and not Atari 2600 old, but the Master System is well, kind of gives an idea of my age.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, most of the games sucked. Most of the games I had sucked, and I was like, okay, video games exist. And at some point, which is kind of funny because right now I'm working with the guys, right?
Right,
But
right.
the game that blew me away was Ninja Gaiden on the Master System because it was kind of different to the one the kids on the NES got,
Hmm.
and the game just blew me away. But I was like, okay, I played it back and forth. I beat the game like 10 times already. I memorized the shit out of it. And I kind of then was like, okay, time to move forward and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I kind of quit. And then when I was about 7, maybe 8 years old, just passing like was Christmas or something like that, your window shopping, and there was Sonic the Hedgehog, the first one.
Right.
And
Hmm.
I remember seeing this thing. I was like, oh my god, oh my god! And the music and the visuals, it was like it was just another planet. And I had something to compare it to, which was the Master System library. And the games I particularly had were not that good. And come on, it's not like we had like IGN or whatever uh,
Mm-mm.
back
No.
in the day to know what we're actually playing.
Hmm.
You pick a box in a store, you look at it. Okay, the art seems cool. Yeah, the description is like okay. Obviously, they exaggerate the amount of fun you're gonna get and stuff like that, and you bring it home and you're like, okay, it's another one of these. So
Right.
yeah, for me, it all started with Sonic the Hedgehog, and the interesting part here is that. Uh, Sonic the Hedgehog was such a major influence to my generation that only like a few weeks back I was listening to a Thundercat record drunk, and he's actually sampling music from Sonic the Hedgehog on this record, and I'm like, oh my god, this runs deep, you
Hmm.
know.
Right, right, right.
So yeah, this is where it started for me.
Wow. And Sonic the Hedgehog was one of the first games I played when I was younger too. So yeah, I'm 30 years old now, so I definitely understand. Like those, that was classic. I feel like that was like the golden age of gaming back in the days. You know what I'm saying? Even though it is still in the golden age of gaming now, but back then it just resonate of how games came from back in the days to now. Wow, I bring back some memories.
Oh man, yeah. And then obviously the 16-bit library for
Hmm.
both the Genesis kids and Nintendo kids
Hmm.
was it was just one revelation after another. And I remember getting my hands on things like Alicia Dragoon, which was mind blowing. It
Right,
was it
right.
was actually it was challenging but mind blowing. And then, dude, Street Fighter, obviously the arcades, and
Hmm.
I think I played Street Fighter Alpha 2 like back and forth for
Hmm.
about a year, literally. And at some point, I got Sega Saturn,
Right.
and yeah, my uncle gave me Sega Saturn for birthday, and he gave me Street Fighter Alpha 2 with it because he knew I was such a big fan of the arcade. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, you don't need any more games. And I'm like, no, I don't need and I mean, I played the living shit out of Street Fighter Alpha 2. So,
Yeah, I see that Street Fighter Alpha 2, man, that was like, all right, if you look at Street Fighter, the Alpha series, right? Street Fighter Alpha, I say 2 and 3 changed.
yeah.
To me, I feel like that changed the landscape of fighting games because it brought something different to the table in a sense. You get what I mean? And Street Fighter Alpha 2 like up the ante to games like Marvel versus Capcom and stuff like that. So I definitely feel what you're saying, man. Street Fighter Alpha 2. And to the people that want to play that classic games, all you gotta do is buy the join on the Xbox and PlayStation because they got the collection where you can play all the Street Fighter games to this day.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. I have it on Switch. I have it
Yeah.
on Switch, I'm like, I know that there's way more games than Street Fighter Alpha 2 on in this
Mhm.
collection, but that's the only one I'm playing because I'm so familiar with it. You know?
Right. Right. I'm telling you, once you like Street Fighter Alpha 2 is fire, but once you play Alpha 3, because it has more characters on there, you'll be like, wow. Like it'll change your whole tune about Street Fighter Alpha in a sense. And we already know they just announced Street Fighter 6
Oh yeah.
today. So I know that everybody's hyped for that game, you know.
I'm not a fan of the logo though.
No, no, me neither.
I
But
was like, okay, it's just it feels the logo feels like an iPhone
mm,
icon where you have
yeah.
like 6 messages.
Hmm.
This is like I'm looking at it. I was like, okay, this is something weird because I mean, all the previous title they had like sort of variation of the same logo. This is the first time we get to see a completely brand new logo. Maybe it'll grow on me, maybe it'll grow on everyone, but so far I was
Right.
like, oh come on guys, like, you know, you had one job. And
Right. Right.
I say it as a fan, I say it as a fan of the series because and also as a fan of the cheesiest Street Fighter 2 anime
Mm,
that was released in the early 90s. It's like
hmm.
it's the cheesiest stuff out there, but for us growing up, this was like, oh my god. And it was brutal. I mean, it was brutal compared to Disney shit that was on the TV that moment. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel you. But don't the Street Fighter 6 logo kind of remind you of the Sucker Punch Games logo in a
Mm,
sense? Kind of remind
maybe,
you of it.
maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. And I also think that they're trying to cater to the esports crowd. It
Mm-hmm.
has an esports vibe to it. It's the icon you can easily put on a baseball cap. I don't
Yeah.
know. Maybe. Again, I'm not an expert here, and I'm not a cult follower of the series, but I really love
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, I definitely feel what you're saying. I definitely feel what you're saying. But but the people want to know though, how did you get into the gaming industry though?
Oh man, this is a great question. I'm not originally from the gaming industry, and I haven't been playing video game. I mean, at some point when I was like about 13 years old, I
Hmm.
discovered uh, an electric guitar, and I joined a band in the school. It was a punk rock band, and
Hmm.
then I discovered that chicks really love dudes with guitars. And kind of my life was never the same again. And I was really not playing games since I was like 13 ish, 14 ish,
Hmm.
until later, like way, way down the line, I pursued a very different career.
Hmm.
And it just happened that I had to spend a New Year's Eve alone on an oil field. It's like
Hmm.
if if you look at the map and you're trying to find an armpit of an asshole, that will be this oil field. And I'm there alone, like completely. It's only me, the RV, and the generator. And I'm waiting for the next shift to arrive.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I'm definitely doing something here for the next 12 hours. And I was like, yeah, gonna go buy me a PlayStation. and the idea was I was like, I'll buy PlayStation 3 because it was a Blu-ray player essentially that also
Mhm.
played video games. So I bought a PlayStation, did not buy no Blu-rays, and bought a bunch of games. And
Mhm.
Final Fantasy 13 was one of them, of all the titles.
Right.
And I'm like, I know Final Fantasy. I played Final Fantasy 6, well, on SNES way back when. Like,
Mhm.
pop this sucker in. So I do that, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And the idea was, I was like, okay, I'll just die trying, but I'll try to make it in the video game space.
Right.
And the interesting part here is that when we're all growing up,
Mhm.
we're not thinking that when you're like 8 or 10 years old, you're not thinking, oh, gee whiz, I want to be a banker so much, or I want to be an engineer and fix an oil and gas equipment, stuff like that, or
Right. Right.
pursue a career in refrigeration and air conditioning.
Mhm.
Yeah, we all want to make video games, comic books, movies, music, whatever we want to do as kids. So,
Mhm.
and I mean, if you're growing up, you want to be an astronaut. Why the hell you're not becoming an astronaut when you are like a bit older? So this
Mhm.
was exactly the question. I was in my mid 20s. I'm sitting there. I'm like, dude, I got to change a career. And funny enough, it was an incredibly hard shift for me because
Right.
obviously, like, imagine uh, now you need to tell all your friends that, hey guys, you know what? I decided to quit. I decided to quit my job because I'm like, I feel like the true destiny calls and it's video games. Well, this was
Mhm.
basically the pitch. And everyone was like, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. So you're coming back to the office tomorrow? I'm like, no, guys, I quit. This is it.
Right.
Now, now I'll build my own company and I'll be making video games with
Mhm.
with top Japanese developers, great teams, and AAA stuff. And everyone was like, right, okay,
Sounds
well,
dope.
yeah, it was challenging, but funny enough, when I ventured to do that, I met a guy. His name is Bernie Stoller, and he was the president of Sega that launched Dreamcast.
Oh wow.
And prior to that, he was a vice president of Sony, and he launched the original PlayStation.
Hmm.
And soon enough, I was partner at West End Interactive. It was his company that
Mhm.
he established, and it was a service company that provided business and marketing advice for a number of big ass groups out there. I'm
Mhm.
under NDA. I cannot talk about the projects, but we worked on some major shit. And then I was like, okay, how about we start making games ourselves? And basically, the whole team, the shareholders, everyone was like, are you crazy? It's crazy work. Who would want to make video games? Let's just
Mhm.
charge all these companies to work with for consulting hours and we're good. I'm like, yeah, but I want to make video games. And I was like, sorry, kid, not this time. So I quit and I started 110 Industries. This is like a very short version of
Yeah.
how we got here.
Yeah, I understand. Speaking of what's in industries that you created, though, it seems like you had brought individuals that worked on Dead or Alive and Ninja Gaiden. Like, how did that
Mhm.
come together?
Um, as you know, we announced a couple of games at Tokyo Game Show in 21,
Hmm.
and for each game, we needed a developer that is
Hmm.
capable of the task.
Right.
And for Wanted Dead, I really wanted to combine melee fighting and your classical third-person shooter combat.
Hmm.
And not that many teams out there know how it's done.
Right.
Now, here's the interesting part: the guys we're working with, they already worked on let's say a similar styled game, which is called Devil's Third,
Hmm.
and it's a rather controversial title for a plethora of reasons.
Oh
And
yes, I remember. I remember that
yeah,
game.
yeah, and some of the issues, and I cannot say for the team, but
Hmm.
knowing the insides of the platform they decided to release it on, well, not like they decided, the THQ, the original publisher for the game, went bankrupt. Most people don't remember it,
Yeah, I
and
remember.
whatever scrap that was on the floor was published on a platform that could not simply support great visuals or great whatever. uh, let's put it this way: it could support if a bunch of Nintendo titles, but it was not fit
Hmm.
for this very game, and it was one of the reasons for the downfall. But the guys knew how to make these mechanics work. Our job was to basically um, give them a project that is, let's
Hmm.
put it this way, mm, that is capable of representing what we want to see on
Right.
screen, and how we want to blend in sword fight and gunfight, and add some just quirky Japanese shit we love so much.
Hmm.
And
So
based on let's put it this way,
mhm,
uh, you haven't seen even 1% of the game yet.
that's what got me excited about it because of that
We're
teaser.
yeah we're trying to make sure that we don't show too much right now,
Hmm.
because we're actually working very hard on a bunch of areas in the game that um, we will be slowly revealing in the
Hmm.
upcoming months. It's like stuff that is being polished right now, and
Okay.
yeah, I'm incredibly excited about this game, and the whole team is super excited about it, and literally, I cannot wait to show more.
Okay. So basically, the people that Chad got for 110 Industries is basically from people that started up Valhalla Studios with Teppanyaki Edagaki with the
Mhm.
Devil's Third, as we were saying, right? So with this game right here, putting it together. Well, before we can get to that question, let's talk about 110 Industries though. Like, where did this name come out? What was the concept of this name, 110 Industries?
Okay, it's a funny question. 110 is just my favorite number, period. Okay,
Okay.
because 110 is it's 110%, or it's the the right temperature for me in the summer. So it's
Hmm.
kind of like it was a joking title, so nobody really took it seriously, and then
Right.
it kind of stuck. And the whole industry's part is that we're not doing only games.
Hmm.
We have a number of other things in the pipe that we will be showing in the upcoming months, and it's not only video games; it's other entertainment mediums, and I'm very excited about the stuff to come.
Would it include Netflix in the future, like
I
movies and
cannot
TV shows?
say anything right now about this, but you're looking in the right direction.
Okay, so it was a hint of net. Okay, I got you. I got you. Okay, you ain't gotta say no more. You ain't gotta say no more. So let's go ahead and talk about the game itself. Wanted Dead. So now I'm gonna be honest with everybody that's in the chat and stuff like that. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Shout out to everybody that's gonna listen to this later on. Now, when I seen Wanted Dead, right? I seen a trailer around the Tokyo Game Show, and I was very intrigued. Then I started seeing trailers when I was looking at a lot of upcoming games because I'm a heavy gamer. I love video games. I've been playing games since I was young, and this game really caught my eye a lot. And then the new trailer was just released recently, and it got me really hyped to play this game. So starting off with this game, Wanted Dead, though, what inspired you to come up with the concept of Wanted Dead? Like, what was the concept of bringing this game together?
Um, the concept for this game, I started working on it Yeah, a couple of years back. It took us some time to find the right developer. It's not like we picked up the phone and that was it.
Hmm.
It took us about a year of back and forth with a bunch of developers to see who's actually fit
Hmm.
to make this game. The primary idea was is that when the whole concept was conceived, it was like, okay, not that many single players out there at the moment,
No.
and we were looking. Yeah, let's go back in time. It was early 2019, and if you look at the landscape, not that many single player games were available. Okay,
Mm-mm.
and we're like, okay, let's do a single player game, story based, but what is this game? And
Right.
the primary idea for Wanted Dead was it has to be a game that you could feel that it always existed, and it has to blend a number of genres and themes.
Hmm.
So, and the idea for blending genres and themes, we were like, okay, it's the 90s, it's the or early 90s cyberpunk, like stuff you'll see on the VHS,
Hmm.
um, rental movies that were not that good, but you never know until you actually get home with the tape and watch it.
Right. Right.
And we're like, okay, Wanted Dead is an elevated, upscale B movie.
Hmm.
Okay, and then we started like when we started writing it, it wasn't actually easy to write cheesy dialogue because, for example, you want it to be cheesy, but at the same time you don't want to parody
Right.
because
Right.
you kind of want to be authentic, and at the
Hmm.
same time, one of the ideas was that we want to give the players that PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 vibe from a game that it's so not safe. The
Hmm.
concept is so not safe, and the visuals are so not safe, but by today's standards, that
Hmm.
there is not a single committee out there in the world that would have greenlit this game based on the characters, the features, and everything. And we really tried to push the creativity when it came to combat, when it came to the story, when it came to mini games. Oh, I just said too much.
Now we know. Now we know there's going to be a lot of entity added to this game. You spoke a
Uh,
lot.
and one of the one of the key features we were looking for is that we wanted to create a very cohesive experience
Hmm.
that would have been like, okay, it's a 10-hour game packed with content,
Hmm.
because we were like, okay, do we create a 20-hour grind fest, or do we create a 10, maybe 9-hour uh, condensed product that you'll be like wishing for more when you beat it? And we decided to go with the second one because at
You
some
just
point
hit
we
it.
know,
You just
yeah,
hit it toward the second one. You just hit it
yeah,
toward the second one.
like, and it
Wow.
was like, okay, what can we have?
Hmm.
How many missions can we have to make sure that each one looks different?
Right. Right.
Texture wise, character wise, enemy wise, whatever. How do we make sure that each mission looks different? How do we make sure that the hub that is in the game is interesting to explore and stuff like that? And then we started
Right.
adding things on top, on top, on top. And right now, I'm very happy with how the game looks in, let's call it,
Hmm.
very early beta. So yeah. Uh,
So is it like in more of a playable state right now, or is still more to go?
No, right now you can actually sit down and play the game from beginning till the end, but obviously not. The cutscenes are still in the works, and all this stuff is still being polished.
Hmm.
Textures still in the works. There are a bunch of places you'll see that, like, okay, you'll see gray blocks instead of furniture and stuff like that. So there's
Yeah.
there is a lot of work that is going into the game right now, and at the same time, we're constantly working with the combat system. and how it works. And the idea here is that um, we're trying to make a product that is challenging enough for you not to quit, but at the same time, it is balanced the way that you're getting your ass kicked, but you're
Okay.
getting your ass kicked, and you're like, okay, I know what I did wrong. Let me replay that. I know where I messed up, and
Mm-hmm.
um, it's not like we were like, oh, let's do a roguelike or let's do Soulsborne, whatever. The idea was just to make a game that challenges you and encourages you to move forward. And I
Mm-hmm.
hope that when it finally gets released this year, people will get to see that.
Okay, so basically, this game right here, Wanted Dead, and correct me if I'm wrong, is basically you're challenging yourself, but if you die or whatever, you have to find a different tactic on how to get past one part from point A to point B, basically.
It is very. It is the game itself is very old school in a good way.
Okay. Okay.
So we were trying to make sure that we don't hold the player's hand for too long.
Right.
That the player has all the necessary tools to overcome whatever challenge, and it means that none of the combat scenarios that you will encounter in the game are random. So
Mm-hmm.
everything has been pre-directed for you so that you're inside your own action movie
Mm-hmm.
where basically uh, stuff that happens, it happens because it was engineered this way. It's not because we just dropped a number of enemies on the map and they started just running around shooting. No, it's all engineered for you
Mm-hmm.
to be like, oh, okay, I know why I died here. Oh, I forgot to kill that guy with the grenade right there, and when these guys with swords ran in, oh, I know what happened. So
Okay.
it's this kind of thing, and um, if you notice, it's pretty much the same deal with the old Ninja Gaiden games. Is that
Mm-hmm.
every encounter with the enemy is preset for you to figure out,
Okay.
and this is exactly the vibe we're going for here.
Okay. Okay. So that's what you mean. Because when I seen the trailer, I seen that resemblance of Ninja Gaiden, but it's a new game in its own way, but have that old school feel to make you think about things when you play it, because you don't want to just go in there and just try to hack and slash everything. You have to have a tactic to go in it. Basically, that's the way I'm looking at how the game is in a sense.
Yes, that is correct. Because we were looking at a number of titles that are being released today, and we just wanted to make sure that we're different. It was incredibly important for us to be different, and it was incredibly important for us to stand out
Mm,
with the story, to stand out with character design, and um, because, for example, the main protagonist, Hannah, um, she's actually she's portrayed by an actual person that looks exactly like her, but only 10 years younger.
mm,
And when we were looking for a model, uh, we were specifically targeting. We needed a tall, athletic girl, good looking, charming, and we kind of were like, okay, we're not making Dead or Alive here.
mm,
We need a character people can relate to, and
mhm.
Hannah is an incredible character. I really love her because she has all the like your regular world troubles in her bag.
Right,
So
right, right.
she's not a superhero, and there is literally no superheroes in this game, character wise. Everyone is very grounded in reality.
Hmm. Okay,
So
so
except for
okay,
the combat, okay, okay,
yeah,
we do know that she'd be dead in a minute.
yeah, I see. So speaking about the main protagonist, tell what's her story? What is she about?
Well, we're about to reveal that soon.
Well, they can't. Well, it looks like they can't go into too much detail right now, but I understand
She's
it.
a she's a badass Hong Kong katana wielding police officer.
Right, right. I definitely feel that. So, like with Wanted Dead, the concept is basically kind of have that '90s feel, but it's basically in Hong Kong in Japan.
Mhm.
Am I right? Okay, so speak on it a little bit. Don't give too much away. Speak on it a little bit about the place of Hong Kong of the game.
Yeah, so we decided to go with Hong Kong because, yet again, we were looking at the aesthetics. We
Hmm.
were looking at in Kowloon City,
Oh
um,
wow.
primarily, looked very futuristic in the 90s.
Hmm.
And the idea for Wanted Dead is that all basically the game takes place in 2022, meaning
Right.
our year. So it takes place literally now. But technology wise, the world of Wanted Dead is a bit retarded.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's it's still the 90s, so they're still using VHS. The characters don't have like high speed internet in their smartphones
Hmm.
or anything like it, and they're still driving 90s cars. They're still using all the 90s tech, CRT monitors, and all this kind of stuff. And we were toying around with the idea that um, there's been a huge leap in the military research sector,
Hmm.
but all the other sectors of economy, like consumer goods and stuff like that, kind of did not really evolve.
Right.
So
Right.
you'll see them walking around with vintage cell phones and stuff like that. So we were kind of going for this vibe,
Right.
and
Right. Right.
basically Hannah and all her teammates, they operate as a special police squad
Hmm.
that is comprised of mercenaries. So she has a badge, but she's not really a police officer, you
Right.
know.
Hmm.
So, and one of the ideas was is that um, and yet again, let's step back a bit and say it's a video game. It's here to be fun, but at the same time, it's some sort of a critique on the fact that the police forces
Hmm.
globally are being heavily militarized. And right now, this is in Wanted Dead. We're showing the ultimate militarized police unit, like beyond.
Hmm.
And at some point, it gets ridiculous, but it's exactly the joke.
Yeah. Look, everything you just said out your mouth, I'm truly excited about this game. Like
Thank you, man.
honestly, but the question, like when it comes to engine and building this game up, are y'all using a engine built from the ground up, or you're using something like Unreal Engine or Unity Engine?
It is a heavily modified Unreal 4.
Okay, wow, that's going to be a great looking game when it's released. So
Uh, yeah,
yeah,
as you might imagine, the visuals that are in the game right now are not final. We're still polishing.
okay. Well, they're in the polishing stages, folks, and we about to see more in the coming months. I'm excited. Really excited. So let me ask you about the weaponry in the game. Okay, so will you have multiple weapons in the game to choose from, or you're just mainly using guns and the same type of swords?
Um, let's put it this way. Um, you're free to pick up a bunch of things on a battlefield
Mm-hmm.
left from your enemies. So there's quite a variety of firearms available.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one sword that she's using, so you'll
Okay.
get used to that. And also, there is a chainsaw, but
Oh,
we have
okay.
yet to show it.
Oh yeah, that's dope. That's dope. That's gonna be a killer when that's gonna be a big selling point to that game. I already know. Wow, man. Okay. So what about if they have any type of upgrade system in the game where you have to upgrade your character like health
Yeah,
and stuff? Okay,
Yeah,
so
we're currently prototyping a very comprehensive upgrade system for the primary weapons,
okay,
but it's still in the works, obviously. But yeah, the game will feature upgrades,
okay. That's
visual and technical.
okay. That's dope. That's dope. Now, this is the key question I always ask all the people that I interview. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a pitch. Why should people buy and play this game day one?
Oh, this is a great question. Um, well, we are making this game for fans of
Hmm.
the specific genre, of the specific era of games, and we are the fans of the genre. So
Hmm.
to me, it was always like, oh, hey, let's go out and make something we actually want to play ourselves and have fun with and
Hmm.
stuff like that. Um, so yeah, this is exactly the product. This is exactly the product we're working on. So it's a
Right.
product for fans of the genre of the set era of when games like these were made, and it's a love letter to everyone who's really into anime, cyberpunk stuff, uh,
Hmm.
that you could have rented on a VHS mid 90s. It is heavily influenced, obviously, by Ghost in the Shell, and we were all like massive fanatics when we were growing up. And I'm talking about the original 1995 movie, which was like mind-blowingly good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And at the same time, it's just Wanted Dead is just something different.
Okay.
Wanted Dead
And
is
it,
just something different, and we really hope that it will be a product that will be worth remembering. So yeah.
mhm, absolutely. And I'll say from my perspective of seeing this game, I consider it up there into the game of the year contender for real though, because the way it looks, and there's not too many games like this, and it needs to be more games like this. And I think this will be the stepping stone of what uh, us gamers would love to see in the future when this game actually releases sometime. But the last question of it, well, actually, the second to last question is into two questions is where can they find this game at? Where can they find you at in social media? And basically, when will this game release, or what consoles it's going to be on?
Um, well, we are aiming for PlayStation 5 and Series X. And well,
Mm,
as obviously we're aiming for PC, you'll be able to find it on Steam. Um, it's too early to tell about the old generation of consoles, meaning PS4, Xbox One. Um, but we're looking in that direction.
okay.
Also, we were trying, we're really trying to figure something out. How do we port it to Switch? And then we figured that we cannot make a direct port of this game
Mm,
without compromising the performance, because Wanted Dead here is not a game that will win a beauty contest, but it still needs a very powerful machine to run
or
for a bunch of other reasons that
mm,
you will see when you'll be getting like updated materials on our YouTube channel, or on our social media. And at some point, we realized that we might be able to do something different for the Switch guys. And at the moment, I
mm.
cannot say anything more about the Switch thing.
Okay, that sounds cool. So, where can they find you at on social media?
That'll be at 110 Industries on Twitter. That will be at 110 Industries on Instagram, and 110 Industries on Facebook. So these are the primary channels.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. Y'all make sure y'all go ahead and follow 110 Industries on all social medias. The link will be in the description below. Again, this has been a fantastic interview. I got a lot of insight on this upcoming game, Wanted Dead, and I'm very excited to play this game whenever it releases. It's sometime this year. I'm just excited, man. And thanks for coming on the
Oh man,
platform, man.
thank you for the conversation. Really love being here today. Thanks so much.
Man, thanks for being on the platform, man. So
Thank
until
you.
next time, everybody, like, share, comment, subscribe, hit notification bell for when we drop videos, more interviews, reviews, and all that to come. We out. Peace.